from Georgia, Mr. Collins, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Comey, I appreciate you being here. You are, I believe, forthright, much more so than you said is in any criminal case we've had. But I'm also still in the military. I'm still in the Air Force Reserve. I went to my drill back in July. I was hit by an amazing amount of questions from different service members on this issue of how does the former Secretary of State get to do this, and yet we have members of the military who are prosecuted all the time. Your statements earlier were fairly startling when you said, I don't know if anybody else has been classified this. Just since 2009, the Department of Justice has prosecuted at least 7 people under the Espionage Act, all for very similar cases. Now, you said go look at the facts. Well, we're looking at the facts in these cases. The interesting one, and you know, you said that in looking back at your investigation, mishandling or removal of classified information, we cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts. All right. Well, it didn't take nothing but a simple legal search to find a Marine that followed it. Now, I guess their name is not Jane or Joe, so they did get prosecuted. Okay, and this is the issue under 18 U.S.C. 793F, gross negligence. This is what the Marine did. They took classified information that was put into a gym bag, cleaned out, washed, and took. All right, simple mishandling. Court of Appeals actually upheld this case, and this is what they said, that the purpose of federal espionage statutes is to protect classified documents from unauthorized procedures, such as removal from proper place of custody, which would mean how you deal with this. Regardless of means of removal, it was apparent gross negligence and was approximate cause of the document's removal. It is, and they quoted United States versus McGinnis, said it is clear the Congress's intent to create a hierarchy of offenses against national security ranging from classic spying to merely losing classified materials through gross negligence or the mishandling of. It was sort of also ironic for me that when I had to go back in July in this past month when I went back, I had to do my annual information assurance training. They went through everything that we have to do with handling classified information. I had been in a war zone. I've been in private. This is just common knowledge among most everybody in the world, obviously not to the Secretary. How can you then explain to me this Marine's mistake in taking classified documents or mishandling them is more severe than the Secretary of State who sent and received classified emails on a regular basis, including those that were originally classified, not those that were classified later, but were originally classified?
Yeah, first of all, I'm familiar with the case, and I'm quite certain it's not a 793F case. It was prosecuted
His
as
conviction was under 793F.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, I'll go back and check again. I'd urge you to, too. I'm pretty sure it's not under the gross negligence prong of 793F. But it's a Uniform Court of Military Justice prosecution, not by the Department of Justice. Am I remembering correctly?
This was from and is appealed out in the U.S. the Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces did actually hold it on this. Yes.
But regardless, I think even, I don't think this is under the same provision, but even there, that's a case involving someone who actually stole classified information, hard copies. What people need to remember, and I don't say this to make a little of it, I think it's a very serious matter. What happened here is the Secretary used an unclassified email system, her personal system, to conduct her business.
And let's just stop right there. That in and of itself, and I understand this, Dr. Comey, we've been through it, you've been through a lot of questions, I apologize. But let's just come back to the basics here. We're trying to parse that I didn't have such a Sandy Berger or all these others who've been prosecuted, they took a hard copy. In today's society, and even understanding if you go through any information assurance class, anything else, they tell you it cannot be on a personal laptop. In fact, there was another chief petty officer who had classified information on a personal computer. It went back and forth to war zone. That is not physical documents. It's on a, to parse words like that is why the American people are fed up. They're fed up with the IRS commissioner when he does it. They're fed up here. I'm not attacking your, I think you're one of the more upright people I've met. I think you just blew it. I think the Attorney General blew it. I shared this with her. And I think when we come to this saying there's no other way that you can say that there's no others that resemble this, as a lawyer, you're taught all the time to take facts and put them, they may not be exact, but they fit under the law. You can't, I mean, so I guess maybe I'm going to change the question because we're going to go down to a dead end. You're going to say it wasn't. But let me ask you this. I want to change questions. Do you honestly believe that a lady, a woman of vast intelligence, who is the First Lady of the United States, who is a senator, who had access to classified information, all the members here do, who was Secretary of State, who had even further classification ability, even beyond what we have here. Do you believe that in this case, honestly, she was not grossly negligent or criminal in her acts?
First of all, I don't believe anyone other than my wife. My question is, what evidence do I have to establish that state of mind? And I don't believe I have evidence to establish it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Then really what we're saying here is this. And this is in essence what you're saying. You said, I can't prove it, and I understand. There's a lot of folks out there in the law that, they come to us all the time. I'm an attorney as well, and they come to and say, it's not what we know, it's not what we think, it's what we can prove. I get it. But here's the problem with this, and this is the person who's asking to lead this country. If she can hide behind this and gleefully get approval from the FBI through an investigation, which has been covered here thoroughly, then I just do not understand. She is either the most arrogant, which probably so, or the most insanely naive person we've ever met. Because when I actually show evidences of basically the same thing, which you can take facts and correlate to law, this is why the armed forces right now have the new term called the Clinton defense. I didn't know. I didn't mean to. It's on my thing. It's the Clinton defense. With questions like this, Director, we have given the ability now to where nobody takes this seriously. And this is why people are upset. When it was originally classified, she can tell all the stories she wants. She can have the backup from you that no prosecutor, which is, again, amazing to me, that a law enforcement would tell the prosecutor. Because how many times I've been on both sides of this, where the law enforcement agent said, I'm not sure we have a case here, but when the prosecutor looks at it, the prosecutor says, yeah, there's a case here. I don't really, frankly, no offense, care if I'm prosecuting, what the law enforcement officer, if I can see the case and I can make it, that's my job, not yours. And yet now we have a whole system that has been turned upside down, not because I don't believe your honesty of your people, but I believe you blew it because you, frankly, didn't have the whole situation into effect where the FBI would look political. And unfortunately, that's all you've become in this. And it's a sad thing because y'all do great work. You have to do great work, and you will do great work. But I think it's time to start, we just bring down the curtain. There's a wizard behind the thing, this Hillary Clinton, who is playing all of us because she's not that naive. She's not stupid. She knew what she was doing because she was simply too bored. If she, God forbid, gets into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and just gets bored with the process, then God help us all. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Mr. Chairman, there's only two.
The Director is permitted to respond.
Yeah.
Two pieces of that I need to respond to. First, you said hiding behind something. This case was investigated by a group of professionals. So if I blew it, they blew it too. Career FBI agents, the very best we have were put on this case, and career analysts. We are a team. No one hid behind anything. American citizens should insist that we bring criminal charges if we're able to investigate and produce evidence beyond reasonable doubt to charge somebody. That should be true whether you're investigating me or you or Joe Smith on the street. That's the way this case was done. It's about evidence. And the rest of it I'll let go.
Mr. Chairman, I will, and I apologize if you're not saying, just a comment. I'm not, this is the problem, though. When you take it as a whole, it's been said up here, this is a unique case. You've talked about it being a unique case. Director, this is a unique case because I truly, and I don't think you convinced hardly anybody except your own group, I don't think you ever said they couldn't blow it. They blew it. Anybody else would have been prosecuted under this. In my humble opinion,
You're just wrong.
you say
You're
no.
just wrong. We'll just have to agree to disagree.
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot to disagree on this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Time the gentleman has expired.